great iron teeth, and it devoured and broke in pieces and stamped the residue with its feet. Of course, this was this beast that Daniel is describing here is the Roman Empire. And it was diverse from all of the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. And of the 10 horns that were in its head, one of the other came up after one of the other which came up, and before whom 3 of them fell, even that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spoke very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. The 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and they shall be diverse from the first, and subdue 3 kings. There appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, well, that's on down. Verse 12, as we want the identification of the 10 horns. The 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings for 1 hour with the beast. And we find that in verse 13, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength to the beast and seek to make war with the Lamb. So the identity, the 7 heads are the 7 mountains upon which we are told the woman sits. So we have the 7 mountains are a reference to the 7 hills. Rome was called the city of 7 hills. Now, during this time, the church is being heavily persecuted. As I said, John was in the island of Patmos and is sort of writing by code because of the things that he is saying are very, if he would name Rome, it would be a real problem for John and a special problem for those that received this letter from John. And so he refers to it as Babylon, and he sort of talks in coded kind of talk, so that, but he then gives the hint, the 7 heads are this 7 mountains, the Rome, the city of 7 hills. So he said that the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. Mystery Babylon. And thus not the actual Babylon, but I'm talking to you in code, the mother of harlots and an abominations of the earth. It is interesting that Babylon was really sort of the source of false religious systems. Babylon, the false religious system sort of originated in Babylon, and they worshipped the mother, the father, and the son. And basically, the worship involved the mother and the father. And the mother was called the Queen of Heaven. And there, of course, were, as this religious system spread throughout the world, this woman that was worshipped, Semiramis, Queen of Heaven, called the Mother of the Gods, Astarte. In Ephesus, she was Diana of the Ephesians. She was Aphrodite. Venus, Isis, and the Blessed Virgin. Those were names that were given to the woman in Babylon. You think of the Madonna and Child as sort of having its origin in Christianity, but not so. The mother and child were depicted long before Jesus was ever born. It came out of the Babylonian religion, Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots. And so the worship and the exaltation of Mary is not something that you find in the Bible, but it is borrowed from the Babylonian religion, and making Mary the mother of God, making her venerated, making her an intercessor, praying to Mary to intercede for you, where the Bible tells us there is one God, one mediator between God and man, and that's the man Christ Jesus. And so the exaltation of Mary to this high position is something that is more or less being exposed here by John in the 17th chapter of Daniel. And so he sees the woman arrayed in purple and scarlet color, decked with gold, precious stones, pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. That is her religious system, and upon her the forehead, the name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and the blood of the martyrs of Jesus, and when I saw her, I wondered with great wonderment. There is going to arise in these last days a false religious system. There are vestiges of it already. Now, it's hard to speak on these things because it sounds like I'm being maybe anti-Catholic, but I don't intend it to be so, just to be factual. And if you will be honest, and if you will search the history of the church, you will find that there have been real problems in the church. The suppression of groups that would not pledge allegiance to the Pope, and the killing of thousands upon thousands of people because they would not honor the Pope as the vicar of Christ. And actually, it led into what is known historically as the Dark Ages, when the church ruled over the world as such. Now, it was wrong, it is wrong, and it's just a matter of history, and you can't change history. When I was in college, I took some courses down there at Orange Coast College, had a professor who was, I would say, probably an agnostic, perhaps an atheist, but he knew that I was a minister, and he kept trying to just sort of bait me and so forth, and he would talk about the history of the church and the horrible atrocities that were committed in the name of Christ in the world and in history. And so one day in class, as he was again sort of pointing out the dark past of the church history, I spoke up and I said, I have no defense for church history. I admit that it